Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Paige, this is Seeking Alexandria, and what could put this smile on my face? Oh my god, like it hurts. I'm smiling so big. You guys, the Natasha Denona Tropic palette is here. I'm living, dying, breathing, barely surviving at this moment in my life. I am so obsessed. We're first going to start off with the fact that Natasha Denona is a super high-end, not like super like $1 million, but it's definitely a higher-end luxury brand. So if you're like, who is that? I've never seen that before. That is why. You guys, we're going to start off. First thing we're going to note is in comparison to her other two palettes that I have, or actually I have 4 other palettes of hers. I know, don't judge me. She actually has a very different material. This is the newest release prior to this one. This was her lilac palette, or Lila palette, I'm sorry. I always want to call it lilac because it's purple, but this is her Lila palette right here. Lila, whatever you want to call it, Lilo and Stitch. But this is it right here. And previous to this palette, she's always had like this leather or faux leather thing right here. You flip it open, and this is more of like a canvasy material, little mirror right here, and then a tear out sheet, and then of course the shadows have always been like this, and this is how all of her palettes have been set up until this point. All of her larger ones, obviously not like the little 5 in the small containers, but all of these types of palettes. This one, the Sunset palette, the I have her too, I think the 28 palettes, I believe is what they're called, but I have those as well, and they're all set up in the same similar style. So the first thing we're going to talk about is this is plastic, which I don't know if this is for the better or for the worse. It does actually close, like it has a magnetic closure, which some people don't like that the other palettes, oh my god, sorry about that. Some people don't like that it's plastic. Then again, I read very little about products before I review them myself. But this is something I was actually a little curious about, because I've always felt like the other ones, if I were to travel with these, at least I know that like this isn't going to crack, it's not going to break, you know, it's got a little bit more ass to it, as we like to say in my household. And this one, well, it's plastic, and that just makes me a little nervous because plastic can crack and break, and you know, it changes that dynamic of it for me at least. But anyways, some people are liking it because it does have a magnetic closure, which is nice. It does keep everything shut. You don't have to worry about it opening up or flopping around in your bag. Again, huge plus. Big, huge plus for me, this friggin' mirror. You guys, do you see? I'm trying to like not show you, but look at this mirror. Like that mirror, it's the size of my face. Like I'm so excited about this, and it's a beautiful large mirror. A lot of her other palettes, as I showed you before, the mirror is like literally half this size. So that is a huge improvement. However, downside, you can't bend it all the way over and kind of hold it like a palette. A lot of times when makeup people do makeup, they actually pull this all the way back and they hold it just like this, more of like a paintbrush easel style, you know, where you just hold it with one hand and it's just easier to hold and manipulate. I actually really love holding things like this, but because I'm blind as a bat without my glasses, the mirror is quite helpful, because I'll actually be able to do one of these businesses. So plus this is as far back though as it goes, so you're not going to be able to bend this all the way around. Now let's talk about shadow sizes, shall we? These are 0.5 ounces a piece, which is the size of a standard Urban Decay shadow, and it looks like her last palette was actually 0.08 ounces. So you get less shadow. That's great. And by the way, the price, definitely the same. Well, the same or more. I don't know if these ones were $125 or $129, but the new one is $129. So if I hold them side by side, they tried to create an optical illusion. You can't tell that these ones are smaller. Oh, but they are, which means they created an actual more shallow pan, because if you look at them, they do appear to be the same exact like inlet size, but you get less product. So Natasha Denona, I'm on to you. It's just really sad because you pay a lot of money, and I really feel like why should we have to get less product in there? But anyways, that's just my opinion. But you do get 15 shadows, so that's a plus. Now, let's talk about what attracted me to this palette. What would attract anybody to this palette? Spring, summer, sexy, sultry, like fun, pop of color kind of eye looks. Now, I will say, upon swatching, I was slightly disappointed with some of these colors. If you're looking at this, and I'm going to give you guys your second hold right here, but if you're looking at this, what I thought was a little disappointing is that all of these shades, or most of these shades through here, like those are all very similar. Now, in swatch, which we will go over in a second, they're not identical, but I do feel like there are a lot of shades in here that were very very, very similar in the sense of you could have either changed one out for more poppy of a color or maybe a different transition shade. There are a lot of really beautiful transitions in here, like just nice different tones of brown and different tones of like a more warmy, pinky kind of nude color, which is great. They're great tones to have in a palette. I just don't know if I would have incorporated that many and then only given like one row of like a good pop. I don't know. I'm still on the fence about that part, but let's go ahead. We are going to jump into the swatches, which, as I noted in the other one, you guys, the shade names are finally on the palette. Natasha Denona, thank you so much for not making us use this little, do you see this right here? This little friggin' cheap, awful piece of plastic? Yeah, that is what's been on all the other palettes to show you the shade names. Everyone hates it, so thank you for putting them under the shades. Huge plus. Granted, you took away a lot of product to do that. I'm just saying. I'm not sassy or nothing. I'm just being honest. All right, time for some shade names. Yes, queen. First up, we have Peach Puff, Sangria, Fake Tan, Cocoa, Sahara, Nudist, Vintage Taupe, Pastel Melon, Gusty, Limoncello, Mint Frost, ho 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 ho, Exotic, Laguna, Tiger Lily, and Xena. And that is the whole palette. Now I will say that from like an aesthetics standpoint, I really love the way that this looks and the way that it fades into those more dramatic colors. I really enjoy that aspect of it. I don't know. I'm still struggling a little bit. By far though, when I open this up, my favorite shade, the shade that I am most drawn to, is the shade Sangria. I love that color so much. I think it's the most beautiful, perfect, like mauvey, slightly rusted, like muted berry tone crease color a girl could ever ask for. I'm obsessed. So I think what we're going to do is we are going to start with the shade Nudist and then fade into Peach Puff, and then we're going to go to Sangria. So I think that's kind of what we're going to start by working into the crease. And of course I have already primed and prepped my eyelids, hey girl. And I'm going in with the Morphe Y16 in the shade Nudist first. We're just going to start by kind of working this one all over. I don't foresee us needing, oh, okay, stop. I don't foresee us needing a ton of this color because I don't want to build it up too much. I mainly just want like a really nice, I just want a nice light wash of color through the crease to give everything else something to blend onto. I do think that with this palette specifically, they did a really nice job of putting together a very wearable palette. I've talked about this before, how I think that palettes have to have a really nice, can you stop? That is so rude. I had to zoom you guys out a little bit. Sorry about that, but I do think that especially lately, palettes have been trying to, you know, really watch and make sure that they tread the line of where wearability kind of fits in with like fun and avant-garde, and you want to put together a palette that's beautiful, that's like season appropriate, but that also people can use a lot. I'm going to switch out now and go in with a Morphe Y17 brush. It has a little bit more of a point to it, and we're going to go in with the shade Peach Puff. Tell you what, no matter what I do, this thing is staying. Ooh, girl, I love that. Now we're going to go in, same brush with the shade Sangria, and we're going to work that one same into the crease, but we're going to keep concentrating it lower and on the more outer part of the V. Tell you what, with this palette, you have no excuse to not have a good transition, guys. No excuse. It'll let you transition from a brown color if you want, or from like a pink base, but you have no excuse, because honey, child. You guys, these are seriously blending out like a dream. Like, that's so beautiful. It just, oh my god, I'm obsessed with that color. Now, the real question is going to be, what do I want to put in this lid right here? I'm really obsessed with this mint, okay, what is the issue? I'm really obsessed with this mint frost color right here, but like, does that really match the eye look? Probably not. I think what I'm going to do, you guys, is I'm going to go in with a little bit of the Too Faced Glitter Glue right here, and I want to go in, put a little bit of that on my finger and kind of dab it in this inner area right here, and then I want to go in over top of that with that Mint Frost shade. I feel like this is the type of shade that could be used both as a topper and as a built-up shadow, but in order for me personally on these textured little assholes to get a super nice like thick layer, I'm definitely going to need some glitter glue. So I'm just going to take a little bit on my finger. I'm not doing this part super precise just because that's not the look I'm going for. Like I said, I think what I want for this look is a little bit more easy breezy, beautiful, tropic, day at the beach kind of feel. So I want it a little bit less structured. So I'm just going to take that glue and kind of tap it on the inside there. And then go over top of that with that shade Mint Frost just on my finger. I mean, like, look at that. That's so beautiful. Oh my God. Wow. Oh my gosh, you guys. Are you obsessed with this? Because I am. And it blends so effortlessly with just my finger. Like, that's crazy. Like, I literally just blended that into the crease with my finger, off to the side with just my finger. Like, you guys, this shade, oh my gosh. Like, I can see me hitting pan on this shade. Is that not so beautiful? And what I think is crazy about this shadow, and it speaks so highly to how well it is made and pressed, is that it is like, I don't even know the word for how pigmented this is, but how it still looks like that beautiful glittery kind of sultry loose glitter look, but not one speck of fallout. And if you've been watching my channel for any length of time, you know that anytime I take my finger and I press on that shimmer shade right there, it almost always gives me some kind of fallout, and there's not one drop of fallout. That is, oh my God, it's so beautiful. Okay, so now we have to move on with our lives, and we can't just sit and stare at one shade forever, unfortunately. So we're going to go in with the Wayne Goss number 6 brush. And before I lay down all the brown on the outer V, which I'm going to be going in with cocoa and kind of like, you know, really deepen it up and give me that sultry snatchified look, I want to take the shade Xena right here, this nice purple shade. It's a very light pastel-y kind of purple. And I just want to use that to kind of transition this beautiful frosted blue color off to the side of the eye. I don't know. I feel like they're going to pair really nicely together. I feel like, actually, now that I say that, this whole palette does blend very beautifully together. Like, it's a very, you know how some colors you look together and you're like, yeah, no, those are so weird, they don't work. And then there's other ones that you pair them together and you go, wow, that's so weird, it looks beautiful. That's kind of how I feel about this palette. Like, these colors in here are pops of color, but they also look like beautiful with other pops of color. They're not standalone or colors that have to stand alone to look beautiful. All right, so we're gonna go in, same brush here, with that cocoa shade, which is just this nice dark chocolate brown. I don't wanna say dark, but you know, darker than the rest. And we're gonna go in and we're gonna kind of start popping this guy right on the outer V, right here, and we're just gonna work it up into the crease. You guys, side note of something I'm super impressed with. Do you see how light and pastel that purple is? And how it is just holding its own, like so gorgeous against all those other colors. It would be so easy for that to get washed out by this really bright blue shade or by that dark brown shade on the outer V. And I'm telling you, that just holds its own so nicely. And it's such a soft transition shade. Like, I'm kind of living for it. Now I'm going to wipe off this Wayne Goss brush. Again, this is still the number 6, and I want to go in back with that beautiful light nudish shade right over here, and I want to work that over just kind of into this crease area. It looks a little bit unblended, and I just want to make sure that it is good and blended over there. But for the most part, that shimmer shade did all the blending itself, because wow. Then just take a little bit of that blue shadow and kind of pat it over top. I'm a big, what I call a back and forth blender, where I'll go in with like one shade, then the other shade, one shade, then the other shade. So like I went in, I blended the crease, and then I went in with a little bit more of that blue, and I patted it out. And I'm just a big believer that working with both shades and continuing this kind of motion back and forth between the two is what's going to give me the best blend. And that's probably because my eyelids are like so folded and textured, okay, that I need to do that much. But anyways, look at how gorgeous. Oh my gosh. Am I the only one that's mildly obsessed with that? God, I hope not. Now, just because I'm curious, and I know curiosity kills all the cats, but I want to go in with this beautiful yellow shade right here. I just want to see how it looks on the inner corner. Just to kind of see, do I like it, do I not? Oh, wow. Oh, and this is just on a Wayne Goss 05. It's like his pencil brush, but any pencil brush would work, obviously. This is just the one that I happen to have, like, sitting out. Okay, so this yellow shade is kind of surprising. It doesn't have to be like, it doesn't come off as yellow as it looks in pan. Like, I feel like this is the kind of shade that could go either way. It can be super yellow and like intense, or it can be just like a really soft muted gold. And look at that subtle transition, like that beautiful from the dark all the way to the brow bone. That transition is life-changing. Oh my gosh. What do I want to do for the lower lash line? I think to kind of pull down and play a little bit of fun, just a tiny bit, I want to take that really dark brown color right here, closest to the lower lash line, and then I'm actually going to go in with that beautiful Laguna blue, and I'm going to use that to kind of smoke down a little bit that brown, and I'm going to round out the bottom of it with this fake, or not fake tan, but this really light shade right here, because I think that'll look perfect. So I think the first thing we're going to do is go in with our smudger brush. This is the Sephora number 11, but any smudger brush would work. Not super specific on this one. But we're going to take this little blunted guy, and I think first we want to go in with the dark brown. I'm a little bit weird when I do my lower lash line. I do it like different than a lot of other people do. I like to control the darker colors first. You guys, I'm so sorry. I'm never in frame for like so much of my lower lash line because I'm blind as a bat. And I'm always like down here, like I'm hunkered down below the viewfinder. Sorry. So for the blue, I don't want it to be like super duper intense. So I'm gonna go in with, where did that Wayne Goss brush go? Not that. Why do I drop everything I touch? Seriously, Paige. There it is. We're going back in with the number 6. Thank you for focusing. I really love this brush, which is really not normal for lower lash line, but I love the way that the tip is. It's flat, like kind of flat, but it also has a domed, rounded end to it. So it works beautiful for just like lightly smoking the lower lash line. At least for me, I know that I don't do it like everybody else does, but I'm going to go in with that shade Laguna. I'm picking up the smallest amount and tapping off because real bristles grab a ton of product. So like, make sure you only get a little bit, and then we're going to deposit that just below the brown. Remember, you can always build your color up, but you can't really unbuild it once it's there. Just that like nice, beautiful, light blue. And I mean, you can carry it down as far as you like to be as dramatic as you like. That's totally fine. A lot of what's going to help this look cohesive is the fact that there's this blue up top. Right now, I look legitimately like the Joker. It's kind of funny. And you know what? I decided I'm going to change courses a little bit. I'm actually going to smoke that out with a mixture of that pastel shade in the middle and this really light purple, because I really want to work on kind of warming it back up now that I cooled it down with that blue. And I think that the purple, really light lavender color, will actually just beautifully smoke it out. Now, because the bottom part is a little bit heavier than I would like, I want to go back in with that same pencil brush that I used on the upper lash line. You can see how right now my inner eye is actually looking a little bit droopy, a little brought down. So I'm going to go back in with that beautiful bright lemony color. We're going to run that on the lower lash line. We're going to bring it out a little bit just to kind of help revamp and brighten up this whole lash line. Plus it'll really mimic the upper lash line and it'll look beautiful. We're going to be a little dramatic. Oh my god, that's gorgeous. Okay. Wow. Do you see how that like just beautifully kind of drapes in and like makes a nice cascading effect? Oh wow, I love that. Okay. I will do something to brighten this up. It looks like some color got right here that shouldn't have, so I will definitely fix that off of camera. I'll add a little bit of a brightening powder right there to my lower lash line, but wow. You guys, that looks so beautiful. Oh my gosh. I know it doesn't look that great right now. I'm going to go ahead, pop off camera. I'm going to do obviously the other eye, finish up my face, and then I will come back and show you guys the finished product. And you're going to be like, whoa girl, that looks pretty. Yeah, and all I will have done is add some liner and some mascara. So I'm going to keep you guys guessing. I'll be right back. Alright guys, I got the whole face all kind of finished up, and the wings got a little intense, definitely. And for some reason, I feel like the liner might be drying out or something, but it got a little bit like bumpy on the upper part of the wing, so just ignore that if it shows up on camera. I'm not sure if it will though, but you guys, these are the finished eyes. I am obsessed. Like, I keep looking in the palette, or in the window, or oh my god, in the mirror, and I cannot get over how stunning. Oh my god, what is it with people? I cannot get over how much I love not only this color, but how much I love the way that it pops off the eye. I think that this color right here, that beautiful frosted mint green, would look stunning as like a halo eye in the center. I think that all of these, hold on, somehow I managed to put the palette like way over there, but I think that all of these shades in here, the mattes blend out literally dreamy. Like, oh my god, dreamy. I had less fallout and like less issue in general with this palette than I have with any other Natasha Denona, and it's not because I normally have issues with other palettes, but the shimmer shades, as I said before, a lot of times I get fallout from shimmer shades, and for some reason I didn't have any issue working with the yellow or that beautiful green misty like turquoise color. So I don't know what the deal is. They might just be different formulas, I'm not sure. But you guys, I'm obsessed with this palette. I think it'd be a great option for someone who loves maybe higher end product, who wants higher end product, but who wants to have like a nice pop of color. But if you take that out, honestly, it could be a really boring palette. So my only caution to you would to make sure that you really love the aesthetic of this palette, like that you love the colors. The colors in here remind me a lot of that new, what is it, the Soft Glam palette by Anastasia Beverly Hills, that one that just came out. They have a lot of those same like kind of beautiful, more muted, more nude type tones that you can build up into several eye looks, honestly. But this one just carries with it this beautiful pop of color that sets it apart. Obviously the price tag sets it apart too, so I'm not going to tell you what to do with your money, but what I will tell you is that every shadow I used blended out beautifully, looks amazing, and they all pair so wonderfully together. I would not trade this. And the other thing that I was thinking about too while I was off of camera, just as like a side note, I love that they give you the brown and the pink base, meaning they give you a way that you can build it up on a pink scale, you can build it up on a brown scale, and all of these colors are kind of interchangeable between those two creases. You can build up a brown crease if that's either what you're going for, if it's more suiting for your eye look or your skin tone or whatever, even your undertone. But you can build it up with a brown crease or with a peachy like pink kind of nude crease and go that route. And either one of those options is going to pair beautifully with this amazing pop of color. You guys, I have nothing but good things to say about this palette so far. Down to, I love the arrangement of this palette. I love that it's very easy, I feel like, to kind of maneuver and manipulate your way around it. It's going to be very easy for someone, whether they're new to makeup or super experienced with it, to really pick their way through these nude shades, build them up in the crease, and they even put the highlight, like this beautiful bam of a shadow right here, so it's kind of like it just rounds out. I mean, if you're looking at it correctly, you'd be looking at it this way, right? And it just rounds out that second row beautifully. A ton of matte, beautiful shades, and then bam. And then right next to that is the other very subdued but still beautiful shimmer shade, and then they saved this whole back row for just like stunning pops of color, some matte. I think there's two matte, yes, there's two mattes and then 3 shimmers, but they are just beautiful. I love this. The only downside for me, I love the mirror size, I love everything in that aspect. I'm just sad that they made the pan smaller. You guys, I definitely recommend. I love, I'm obsessed. And side note, huge shout out to Beautylish for getting me that on time, unscathed. I actually got it next day air, like FedEx next day air. Amazing. They have been fabulous to deal with. I love them so much. So thank you to Beautylish for making sure that I got that palette, got it on time. I asked to have it in time for the weekend and they made sure of it. No questions asked, and all I had to do was send them a text message. Not sponsored, wish it was. Love working with them. They're fantastic. Now, if you're curious what is on my lips, this is the ColourPop Lippy Sticks in the shade Cami Matte X. And I don't know if this is like, I thought that their new formula was a matte one, but this is actually like a roll-up. But you guys, this formula is so interesting because it's so matte that it feels like a powder, but like there's nothing coming off. Like, nothing. It's like not, no transfer. Like, I don't know, but it goes on gorgeous. I love it so much. I was just seeing if it like smudged around, but yeah, it doesn't, it dries down. I'm so floored by this, and it feels so like, it definitely feels matte, but it's so comfortable. I've told you guys before, I'm not a big fan of ColourPop liquid lipsticks. Their matte formula is so drying, but this is like a powdery type dry down. I don't know. It's amazing and it's beautiful. I love the color. Again, that is the shade Cami in Matte X formula. I love it so much. The highlight that is on my face is actually my old busted Ofra highlight. This is in the shade Rodeo Drive, which, fun fact, if you look real close at this one, it looks beat up, right? This is one of the first videos on my channel that I did. Like, this is probably video like 3-ish, 3 or 4. I repaired this highlight that I got. It was broken, and it came in my BoxyCharm, and I fixed it because I loved it so much, and I didn't want to waste it. But alright, you guys, I'm still like holding on to this lipstick. I'm going to put it in my pocket. But you guys, that is it for this video. I hope that you've enjoyed it, and I really do hope that you comment, like, and subscribe down below. What do you think of the eye? What do you think of the palette? Is it something you're hoping to pick up? This was definitely a very exciting release. The packaging packaging changed. A lot of things about this release changed for Natasha Denona previous to her other palettes. So I'm kind of living. I love it so much. Let me know what you guys think. Is this a palette a lot of you are looking to pick up? Not so much. It's super pricey, so I wouldn't blame you if you didn't. I fell in love with her shadow so early on though in my channel that I just can't look away now. You guys have a great day, night, weekend, whatever it is when you're watching this. And don't forget, comment, like, and subscribe. And all my other social media handles are down below in the description box. The Instagram, the Snapchat, the Facebook, the Twitter, all that. All down there. You should probably check them out because that's where to find me. And I will see you guys out in the next one. Bye. Tropic palette. I'm obsessed. Oh my god, my eyes match the palette. Kinda not really.